Right. Something different from me anyway. I'm experimenting with content and stuff like that. I've got into this whole like content creation sort of hobby, and it is a hobby for me. So I thought I'd do something different by doing something about my car. Whether you're interested or not, I do apologise. But I'm just learning as I go. And again, in the comments and everything, I would love people to maybe make suggestions and maybe help me to work on this a little bit better. Anyway, my car is an Audi A4. It's a 2004 B6 variant. It's an SE model, not an S line. I've had a few people already ask me, "Oh, is it an S line?" No, it's not. It's just a lamb in sheep's drag, or a wolf in sheep's clothing, as if you know your terminology. It is a 1.9 130 PD. It's the PD engines are the most reliable engines that VAG have ever made, and yeah, I didn't think I'd be owning one. At least in my 40s, I'd probably be waiting until my 50s before at least I'd be able to afford one. With regards to Audis, I was never really much of an Audi fan when I was younger. I was more Fords and Vauxhalls. My first car was Vauxhall Cavalier Mark II. Next to say that I modified that up and then wrote it off 6 months later. Go youth. And yeah, I only got into Audis. I used to work for Volkswagen Van Centre in Preston, and I was basically the site driver. So, as well as being responsible for all the vans on site, my bosses their company cars were Audis, and my responsibility was to make sure that they were valeted and fueled and maintained as best as possible. So needless to say, in that time of driving these expensive cars around, I developed an interest and a love for Audis. However, I was not able to own an Audi until like the past 5-6 years, where a friend of mine was helping on behalf of a car sales guy, and it was myself and another chap that were looking at this car. I got this car at trade price. The other guy wanted to pay an extra £100 to stick it on a forecourt for double the price. So I take that as the car is basically double its worth. I mean, the car was at 104,000 miles, as you know, for a diesel engine, that's just barely broken in. And yeah, I thought, okay, I was gigging, I was traveling across the UK a lot at the time. This was before lockdown, and I bought this, and I've been in love with it ever since. It's the best looking 19-year-old I've ever seen, anyway. Let's put it that way. But yeah, I can't really think of much more, but that's my background with this car. I still got it. I intend on keeping it until basically the eco police basically say, right, it's illegal to have a diesel because it's killing the planet or some crap like that. So I'm like, make the most out of what I've got. And yeah, here I am with my baby. So here she is. 2004 Audi A4 B6. She's an Avant. In crystal blue. It's a beautiful colour. Pops in this weather. She's just been washed as well. As you can see, got to have on brand and everything, as far as I'm concerned. And also, I just want to thank Audi Owners Club UK for allowing me to be part of their already reputable club. It's actually great to be part of something where there's like-minded Audi owners. So yeah. Right, so the mods on the car originally came on some 16s. As you know, with SEs, they're pretty basic and the standard. This has 18-inch alloys off an Audi A8. They are multi-fitment, so I don't think these alloys are actually standard VAG, but they still look the part. I mean, I had them refurbed recently because they were looking a bit tatty. And as you can see, the centre cap is from an Audi TT, which just tidies it up, and the colours and everything just makes the wheel pop, to say the least. As you can tell, the car has been lowered. It's only been lowered 40 mil all around. I've just had Bilstein sports shock absorbers fitted, just to make it a bit more solid at the back. It's the sports variants, not factory variants. The factory ones were a bit too soft for my liking, so I've ended up upgrading the rear suspension. As you can see on the doors, they're the gills from the S line. As you know, with the SEs, they don't come with these. Somebody kindly sold me a set of these, and obviously I duly sprayed them up, and they fitted on, and they look bloody lovely. I'm still yet to get a Maxon side skirts, just to tidy the line of the car up a little bit better, so then the car should look a little tidier at the sides. You know, I mean, I still can't get over this colour. I mean, I was never much into baby blue, but this crystal blue is absolutely gorgeous. So we move on to the front, and you can see that I have a front splitter on this. Originally, I bought a modified like B8 front bumper. I'd sprayed that up to fit it on, and I put a Sports GT front splitter on it. It looked okay, but obviously it was a bit imperfect fitting, so I decided just to get this front splitter instead. This front splitter is actually for an Audi S4. It looks aggressive, and from a different angle, it does look mean, look business. The grills I want to de-chrome. I want them to be like my fog light grills, like an alloy silver. And because I think the alloy silver on this blue, I think just looks very tidy, and it tightens it up quite nicely. There's been a few blemishes on the bumper. Obviously, over time, I'm looking to get that T-cut and tied it up. I'm a bit dubious with regards. I mean, the headlights I love. I mean, I'm in no rush to upgrade the headlights, but the LEDs, I have thought about getting the LED lights. I have seen the Angel Eye variants, but then I thought, no, that's a bit too off-brand, so I'll stick with these for now. But yeah, with the front grille, we'll come around the front here, it does look quite mean, looks very aggressive, and definitely tidies her up very nicely and everything. Anyway, we move on to the ugly side of the car. Briefly did spell pizza pushing, and whilst parked outside, somebody reversed into the front of the vehicle, in front of my car, and left this very ugly ding. Obviously my headlight's poking out, so I do want to get another wing for this. It hasn't necessarily got the really bad wing rot. It has obviously rusting, but I have since sanded it down, and I will probably touch it up again. I'll probably tidy up this corner, just get rid of that as well, because I don't want that putting through a tyre. But, you know, just tidying it all up and trying to get rid of imperfections. Well, it's not quite nice, that. I don't know what's happened there. There's a bit of a chip in the alloy. These alloys were refurbed a couple of years ago, and they are old. They do need to come off and maybe have another refurb, another retouch on them. You know what it's like trying to keep your car tidy. So yeah, so that's from when it got reversed into. I have tried tidying the wing. It was a little bit on the ugly side, so another wing I think might be a best option here. Again, everything as is the other side, and then we move on to the back door. Now the running theme here is, if you have an Audi A4 B6, I think reversing into it is apparently the done thing here in the UK, or at least in the north of England. This came about whilst I was at Hartshead Moor. I'd reversed out, literally was ready to set off, and got reversed into by a Mitsubishi. I think they're called an ASX. I'm not so sure. I'm not an expert. And they have cameras in their rear boot lid. So obviously you're going to be seen, or you would assume you are. And they have reverse sensors, apparently. Yeah, I think things were faulty that day. I do believe it was more the driver that was faulty than the actual equipment, but, you know. So the car has been cat-end. So if I was to resell it, it will devalue the car. But, yeah, it's a shame, really. But has it put me off having her? No, she's still here. I bought the car back and continued tidying her up, or as best I could. But this is her ugly side, sadly. This is a side I don't really take many pictures of. Onto the rear. It's pretty standard in the rear of the car. You know, it's private reg and reverse sensors, and even got a towing eye. So she's a good bus for towing things. I haven't really towed anything significant on her. I haven't really got any plans to either, but situations change, don't they? I am considering, or have considered, changing the rear part of the bumper to facilitate a splitter and maybe a dual exhaust, but then I think all the eco hippies would shit themselves, or at least make a mess of the pants over it. Oh, he's killing the planet with more exhausts and all that diesel smoke. Yeah, they make me cringe. Like my silly voices make everyone else cringe. But yeah, so I've not bothered. I just leave it standard as it is. She's a tidy enough girl. Bit more on brand. I do need to change that rear LED light. I have considered maybe getting an S-line spoiler, but yeah, I don't know, I'm in two minds, you know. So we move into the car, and excuse some of the mess, but leather interior, you know, window rag and everything. I need a new aircon pump. The aircon I don't get the cold air that I need. I had to put a wheel cover because the standard wheel, the leather wheel, is a bit thin for my liking. I like my chunky wheels. So yeah, chunky steering wheel. As you can see, it's the dreaded CVT. But yeah, I mean, I drive it in like manual mode, basically. I don't drive it full auto. It judders setting off, so we reckon that's going to be probably a clutch pack replacement, but I have been told to replace the chains in the gearbox. There's a chain in the gearbox as well that will need replacing. Whenever this is the rear leather seats as well. It does have LED lights on it. I'll see if I can switch the buggers on, actually. I didn't think about this, but are they on? I don't know. Have a little control thing here, but yeah, blue lights. A bit of the old boy racer in me wanted to you know, keep the boy racer in me alive. I do like these door trims. I've never been a big fan of grey and whatever, but I do want to put them, have the exterior colour on them. So that's me Audi A4 B6, and yeah.